Think about the Soulsborne genre for a second. Games like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
That is the most absurd thing I have ever seen!
They are hard, brutal, relentless. At least that's the reputation. And yes, these games are difficult. But somewhere along the way, difficulty stopped being a feature and became the entire identity. Souls games didn't just become known for challenge, they became defined by it. And the consequences are everywhere. For every FromSoftware game, there are 5 Soulslike copycats that take one single aspect, difficulty, and build their entire experience around it, often cranking it even higher. And I'm going to say it plainly. Most of those games don't get it. And worse, we might be starting not getting it either. Think about the last time you talked about Elden Ring, or scrolled through a discussion online. What were the people arguing about? How many tries did you need for Radahn? Oh, you killed Malenia with Rivers of Blood, so you know that doesn't count, right? So up until now, these games were difficult but fair. But the latest one is objectively too hard. You used Mimicked here, So you didn't really finish the game, did you? Soulsborne games have become synonymous with difficulty. But here's the thing. Challenge is not what millions of players fell in love with. Or at least, it's not the only thing. And that misunderstanding is exactly why most Soulslikes limp behind their role model. FromSoftware's real mastery isn't difficulty, it's world building. They create worlds that feel believable. And yes, living worlds might be the wrong word. And yes, living worlds might be the wrong word, because these worlds are actually usually very, very dead, but not in the artificial, checklist-driven way Ubisoft has perfected. They are dead in a way that makes you feel at every corner why they ended up like this. When you travel through the worlds of Dark Souls or Elden Ring, you feel small. You feel like the world is bigger than you, older than you, indifferent to you. And that's a feeling most games never even attempt. Think about the typical modern game. Quest markers drag you from objective to objective. Yellow-colored paths or white pieces of cloth or whatever tell you where to look. NPCs stand frozen in place, waiting for the hero to activate them. Boss fights are announced by conveniently placed supply rooms, which is logical from a gameplay perspective, sure, but it's completely absurd in terms of world believability.
Nice!
It's like leaving your house key, a stack of masks, and an invitation letter outside your front door. All in all, most game worlds aren't worlds. They are theater backdrops screaming, "Look at me, play me, progress me, please." And that's fine. Games are meant to let you be the hero. They are literally called role-playing games. But it's exactly why it feels so refreshing when a game like Dark Souls or Elden Ring appears in this ocean of sameness. I'd even argue that the original vision behind the father of Souls games, Demon's Souls, wasn't difficulty at all. Outside of a few genuinely cruel design choices, yes, like the skeletons in the Shrine of Storms, fuck you, the game is relatively mild by today's standards. What made it special was the atmosphere, isolation, the world itself. And FromSoftware doubled down on that in every game that followed. Their worlds feel like they could exist with or without you. Every level, every card, every crate feels like it's exactly where it should be, not where it's convenient for your journey. Well, except Dark Souls 2, because that elevator into Iron Keep still makes absolutely no sense.
Huh?
Take Elden Ring. You are riding through Limgrave, exploring, slowly improving so you can face the boss who unfortunately forgot to leave a crate of explosives outside his arena, and along the way you might pass an unremarkable stone structure in the middle of nowhere. You can ignore it or you can enter it, take an elevator down, and suddenly you're not in just a new area, you are in an entirely separate underground world. There was no marker, no quest, no narrative urgency. It exists whether you find it or not. You can finish the game without ever knowing you missed it. Show me another game that dares to do that. Elden Ring feels like if I turn off the console, the world keeps living without me. And the same applies to Melania, one of the most infamous bosses in modern gaming. And she's hidden behind content you can simply ride past. You don't stumble into her because the game wants to show her off. You find her because you were curious enough to look. But optional content is only a part of the whole topic. What really sets these games apart is how they tell stories without ever stopping you to explain them. Environmental storytelling gets mentioned almost as often as difficulty when it comes to Souls games, and for good reason. These worlds don't tell you they are dead, they make you feel it. Every step is evidence. Look at Caelid. The land itself is diseased. Scarlet rot seeps into everything. The creatures aren't enemies in the traditional sense. They are broken, mutated remnants of what once lived there. And then, even better, there's New Londo Ruins. You can rush through it, frustrated by darkness, unkillable ghosts, and your character's complete inability to swim, or you can slow down. Notice broken houses, shattered belongings, a vague line of dialogue from a lonely NPC, and piece by piece you uncover the horrifying decision that doomed this entire city. And there's no quest called Discover the Fate of New Londo. You either understand it or you don't. And that's what I mean when I say the game is bigger than the player. And level design reinforces this philosophy. I am not a game designer, so I can't say what's good or what's bad level design. But I am a player with a lot of experience. And FromSoftware's levels, they feel like they've been there forever. Like I'm just passing through. The castles, cathedrals and fortresses aren't built for you. There's no red carpet rolled out to the boss door. They exist because they once served a purpose. Stormway Castle is a perfect example. You can sprint straight to the boss, if you are a speedrunner or a masochist. But if you have any sense of self-preservation, you will take the longer path. And that path takes you through kitchens, dining halls, broken walls, and outer ramparts designed for defense, not player convenience. And yes, of course, all of this is deliberate design. But it doesn't feel like design, it feels like history. Anna Londo lives rent-free in my head for the same reason. And not because of Ornstein and Smaug, and not even because of the archers. Screw the archers. But it's because the level never lets you move in a straight line. You climb to broken windows, balance, scroll, and trespass your way through a space that doesn't care about readability or flow. No yellow paint, no glowing paths, no white pieces of cloth. Soulsborne games are the purest expression of the journey is the goal. And most of the genre doesn't understand that. Take the first Berserker Kazan, which is one of the better Soulslikes out there. The bosses are hard, very, very hard, and genuinely excellent actually. Some of them rival FromSoftware's best. But the levels? Long, bland corridors lined with enemies leading straight to the boss door. Kazan is an extreme example, but it shows where the genre's priorities have shifted. And that's where the problem starts. Not just for Soulslikes, but for FromSoftware themselves. Because while they still excel at atmosphere and world building, Shadow of the Earth Tree proves that. They are being cornered by expectations. Every new release sparks the same debate. Too hard, too much, gone too far. And the core issue isn't the bosses, it's us. With every new release, we expect more complexity, more aggression, more punishment. Developers respond by escalating difficulty, and in the process, focus slowly drifts away from the worlds that made these games special in the first place. That alienates a huge part of the audience. The players who came for atmosphere, lore, and the world. The ones who saw challenge as a piece of a larger puzzle, not the whole picture. FromSoftware has walked this line brilliantly so far, but with recent projects leaning toward boss-focused, multiplayer-heavy experiences, it's fair to pause and wonder. Not panic yet, just wonder. I do trust the studio, and great things take time. But if difficulty ever becomes the core instead of the seasoning, that would be a mistake. Until then, I'll be back in the lands between. Because for me, the most vivid memories of these games were never the bosses. They were the worlds. So now it's your turn. Be honest with yourself. When you think about Souls games, do you remember bosses or places? Drop your answer below, and if you like this kind of breakdowns, you know what to do. I'll see you in the next one.